Next is the things around us. Around us, there are two types of things, living things and non-living things. What are the common features in between the living things and non-living things? If it is living things, if it is non-living things, all the things possess mass, shape and occupy space. Both are formed from a structural unit. Both the things are made up from a structural unit. In case of living things, the structural unit is cell. In case of non-living things, the structural units are molecules. That if you are taking elephant is a living things. The structural unit is cell. But we are taking a choppies, the structural unit is a molecule. Cells do not exist in non-living things. That is, living things are made up from the cell. Non-living things are made up from the molecules. What are the characteristic features of living things and non-living things? The characteristic features of living things and non-living things are cellular organization, nutrition, respiration, growth, excretion, reproduction, movement, response to stimuli, life cycles. This is the characteristic features of living things. Cellular organization. All living things are made up of cells. Cell is the basic unit of life. Some living things consist of only a single cell. Example, amoeba. These organisms are known as unicellular organisms. Most living things are made up of millions of cells that are known as multicellular organisms. Example, rose plant, pea plant, human, dog, cat, etc. These cells are carrying out various functions, that is nutrition, respiration, excretion. They are called the structural and functional unit of organisms because it is responsible for many processes like nutrition, respiration, excretion, etc. We can study one by one. Nutrition. Food is required by all living things. Food provides us energy. Food also helps in body growth as well as maintenance and repair. Without food, living things cannot live. In case of plants also, green plants prepare their own food through the process of photosynthesis. They obtain water and minerals from the soil. Roots helps the plants in this job. For the preparation of food, plants require carbon dioxide. The plants absorb this carbon dioxide from the air. Actually, this carbon dioxide absorbed by the leaves through minute pores. That minute spores are known as stomata. The green plants utilize carbon dioxide from air, water and minerals from the soil, and sunlight to prepare their food. That process is known as photosynthesis. Through photosynthesis, they prepare their own food, and it is in the form of sugar. Plants prepare their own food. That is why they are known as autotrophs. Auto means self, trop means food. So, plants prepare their own food. That is why they are known as autotrophs. Animals, on the other hand, they are known as heterotrophs. Hetero means other, trop means food. They are not preparing their food. Their mode of nutrition is known as heterotroph. They depend others for food. Respiration. All the living things respire day and night, through all time, that is day and night. They are taking in oxygen from air and give out carbon dioxide. The oxygen is used to produce energy from the food consumed by the organisms. This energy utilized to perform various activities by living beings. In plants, this exchange of gases, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen exchange, takes place through leaves that we already discussed. Leaves contain minute pores that is known as stomata. Through this stomata, the exchange of gases takes place. All the organisms respire. In case of earthworms, they breathe through skin. Fish, they have gills to respire. Frog is an amphibian. Through moist skin, they respire when they are in water. Through lungs, they are respiring when they are on land. Humans, cows, buffaloes, dogs, cats, lions, etc. have lungs to respire. Next characteristic feature is growth. You know what is growth. That is, in case of humans, the growth of a baby into an adult. Likewise, in case of dog, the growth starts from a pup and to an adult dog. In case of plant, that is germination, germinating a seed first and that grows into a plant. So, in case of living things, growth is permanent. It is irreversible process. All living things grows from a single cell. But in case of a non-living thing, it is an external process. It is taking place by adding matter externally. It is a reversible process. But in case of a living things, it is an internal process. Next characteristic feature is excretion. Excretion means it is the removal of a waste from the body. In living things, it is excreting in the form of urine, sweat and carbon dioxide. Unicellular organisms like bacteria, the removal of waste takes place through body surface. We already discussed in case of plants, the excretion takes place through stomata. In some plants, waste is given out in the form of gum and lactase. That is in case of acacia and rubber. In case of acacia, a browny sticky substance that is known as gum is found on the tree trunk. That gum is the waste given out by the acacia plant. In case of rubber, they are excreting through latex. If you break the twig of a rubber plant, we can see a thick fluid is coming out of the trunk. That is known as latex. Next characteristic feature of the living organism is reproduction. All living organisms have the ability to produce young ones of their own. Cat produces kitten. A hen lays eggs. That is, you can see here. First a hen lays eggs, which hatches into chicks, finally grow into hen. In case of tree, a mango tree bears fruits which possess seeds. The seeds develops into young seedling, then into a tree. That is, all the living things can produce. Seed, germination, that is seed sprouts, seedling occurs, then it will be a mature plant. The other characteristic features are movement. Living things show movement that you can see in their everyday life. Animals, birds, insects, they can move from one place to another place. Plants also have slight movement. Plants are fixed into soil. Then also they have movement. The movement in plants is not as same as animal, like walking and running. In plants, the movement is just like that. The stems move towards the light. The roots grow downwards into the soil in search of water and minerals. A small microscopic plant is there in water that is known as alga. Alga chlamydomonas. In this microscopic plant, the all plant moves about in water. But in other cases, the movement only happens in stem part and the root part. The stem is moving towards light. Root is moving downwards in the soil in search of water. Some animals are the sponges, corals. They can't move. They do not move from one place to other place. Next one is the response to stimuli. Living things respond to stimuli or changes in the surroundings. In cold climate, that we wear woolen jackets. If your hand touches on a hot object, we respond. That is by quickly withdrawing it. When the sunlight falls on us, we close our eyes. Suddenly we shut our eyes. These all are known as response to stimuli. That is, a plant bends towards the sunlight. That is known as phototropism. It is a response to light stimuli. That is, always they are growing. The stem is bent or growing towards the sunlight. In case of roots, root grows downwards into the soil. That property is known as geotropic. Some other plants are there. It is known as sensitive plant that you can see in the picture. That is, it has also a response to stimuli. That when we are touching on the leaves of this plant, at the next time or suddenly the leaves curls upon being touched by hand. In case of cockroach and earthworm, they always move away from light. These all things are known as response to stimuli. Next one is the life cycle. Living things follow a life cycle. It starts from a single cell. In case of animals, the life cycle consists of birth, growth, reproduction and death. In case of plants, the life cycle begins through seeds, then germination, then growing to become a plant, etc. Bacteria has a lifespan of 20 minutes. Pea plant has a lifespan of 4 months. In case of mouse has a lifespan of 2 to 3 years. Elephant has a lifespan of 70 to 90 years. Tortoise have a lifespan of 120 to 150 years. That is the period during which an organism completes its life cycle. That is known as lifespan.